Hello and welcome to LA Dolce Vita podcast. Conversations about Hollywood journeys from couch surfing to the Walk of Fame and anything in between. My name is Liliana and I am your hostess and the mama of this show. Today with me for the first time on LA Dolce Vita, we have a male guest and we have a visual artist. So please help me welcome from Italy to Hollywood, Alessio Ceruti. Ciao,
Hi,
Alessio.
how are
Very good. How are you this morning?
Good, very good.
I made you wake up very early, or you?
No, usually. I usually wake up very early. Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been here in Hollywood with us?
It's a week now, yeah.
A week. And why did you come to Hollywood?
I came here for an art fair.
Yeah, which one? The other art fair at the Baker Hangar of Santa Monica. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Tell
that's
us
correct.
about it.
It was a great fair, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the organizer? Tell us about the fair a little bit.
So the fair is organized by Saatchi Art. Saatchi Art is an art gallery in the UK, and it's the most famous online gallery.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And,
I saw on Instagram they have like 1 million followers, or
it's
like
one of the
massive.
biggest,
Yeah.
it's one of the biggest online gallery. Yeah, and they organized the other art fair, where almost 140 artists can participate. So they have a very good selection of artists.
Yeah.
And
it's a traveling fair, the other art fair, right?
Yes,
like
correct.
now there was one in Los Angeles, then
Correct.
there are other events around the world. That's how it works.
if you want, you can select which cities you want to go, because there are many different cities. There is Brooklyn, Los Angeles, Dallas, London, Sydney, and others.
Very good. When did you create your profile with the Saatchi Art? What's your journey?
Oh, it was like probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that when you started also your journey as an artist, or you started earlier than that?
I started earlier, but actually I started when I was very young, but then when I moved to Indonesia, I really started to be an artist.
Okay, so let's take a step back. When you were very young, I know we come from basically the same region of Italy. Let's talk about it. So you come from Italy. Where in Italy, and where did you grow up? How did you grow up?
Okay, so I grew up in Saronno, which is very close to Milan and Varese, where you are from.
Varese,
And,
the Hamptons of Italy, Varese.
And actually, it's a very simple city. It's a small town where there are few how you call it, colleges?
Universities,
Universities,
colleges,
colleges, yes.
schools. We have to understand that in Italy we have a great public school system and we have a great school education for free, while here in Los Angeles the public system for education is good, but it's limited, and most people, especially in the west side of Los Angeles, they spend thousands of dollars starting from elementary school to send their kids to school, and then of course there is college, hundreds of thousands of dollars. In Italy we are lucky because we have this great elementary school, middle school, great high schools, and great universities. I think what we don't have education for the arts, whatever the arts are, visual arts, dance, acting, education for works in the television world, in the movie world. We don't have those. While here in America, I think we start very young with those kind of education, and they are not seen as extracurricular they're seen as part of your education. So I think we are very lucky because we have this great academic education, but in Italy we don't. Now I think there are a few schools that start incorporating also the arts in Italy. That's how I see our area, right? How was for you as an artist? Did you feel like, of course, it was something that you couldn't bring to the school, like?
Well, there are. I mean, there is Liceo Artistico.
Liceo Artistico, it's true though. You're right. Oh my God, did you go to Liceo Artistico?
No. Actually, my journey is
totally different. Yeah,
totally different.
You're right. I forgot. Probably the visual arts are the ones that actually have. Because I'm not a visual artist. That's why I was like, there's nothing for me. But you're right. For the visual arts, there's Liceo Artistico. I love actually Liceo Artistico.
There's Liceo Artistico, and then you can go to the university. Like,
yes.
For instance, in Milan, one of the most famous is Brera.
Brera, the Accademia delle Belle Arti di Brera. Actually, a friend of mine who comes from Liceo Artistico, now she just got a degree of psychology in her 50s. I pushed her to do it. So from Liceo Artistico, actually, you can even 20 years later go to university and become a psychologist. You're right, Liceo Artistico, yeah. But what's your journey instead? So you didn't go to Liceo Artistico?
No, I finished studying when I was 14 years old because I joined my father's company for...
so you finished your school journey after middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's early. That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and that time was different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, my father needs help for his small factory.
Okay.
And I started to help him when I was very young.
Wow. That's probably, I don't know, do you think that helped you being a worker at such a young age, that helped your entrepreneurial spirit, and that's maybe why you are here exposing your, like showing your art in Hollywood? Do you think that going to leaving school at such a young age and getting to know joining the workforce made you more prone to be an entrepreneur, which is important when you are an artist, because you need to promote your artistry and your arts as well? What do you think?
Yeah, well, can be, because there are many different ways. I mean, I know a lot of artists that went through the school, of course, and how you say it in English?
You can say in Italian and I'll try to translate.
Yeah, with that word, let's say.
Yeah,
with the
okay.
art word.
Yeah.
So you are more connected with galleries.
Although what I'm saying, you were not connecting to the art world, you were more in the workforce, and then later on.
Yeah, but because I work with the factory of my father.
What was it? Okay.
They are polishing metals.
Oh, okay.
So I work also for very famous artists.
That's how you got connected at the young age with the art world, because in that factory you had some clients who were famous artists.
Yeah. I mean,
you got exposed to that. You got to see them.
They were coming. Sometimes they were coming for doing some artworks.
Nice.
And I worked directly with them, so I had the opportunity. Actually, I was lucky to meet those kind of people. Yeah, because they not in the early stage. I mean, not in the early. How you say the early time?
Months in the early months.
Because I start to realize that I can do artworks when I was already around 25 years.
So 6 years from when you actually
10 years, I guess.
10 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was doing my paintings, I was doing my own things.
You had it inside naturally,
but without giving any importance.
Yeah, it was just like, this is a hobby. I have a job, and this is my hobby.
Exactly.
When did the hobby of painting started?
Probably when I was like around
3 years old? No, 15.
No, when I was younger too, but because my idea at the beginning was to go not through the Liceo Artistico, but to do a stylist.
Fashion designer, right? Fashion design, yeah.
Because I like drawing. At that time, I was like drawing like clothes and.
So you always had it in you.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a fact that happened when I was in the middle school.
Tell us.
Fun fact, not so fun. Well, my art teacher in that time, because I liked to, of course, I love to drawing and doing my things, but they were kind of different from the others. And she was really disappointed to me, and she was telling me that I will never be an artist.
Oh, okay.
When I was very young, when I was probably 13 years old, yeah.
So you mean in middle school, the professor of disegno,
See,
the art professor,
the art teacher, yeah,
the art teacher.
Yeah.
But why? Now I want to know, what did they want you to draw, and what were you drawing, and why? Like, where was the conflict? I'm interested.
Well, it's hard to remember that. but yeah, I mean, but every time it was different from
so she was giving an assignment, let's say, and you were fulfilling the assignment in your own way, which was probably very artsy because you are an artist at art, and she was like, this is not good, and by the way, you'll never become an artist. Was it?
I don't know, really. I don't really remember, but I remember that all the other students, they were doing things that they were assigned to do.
Yes.
And for instance, let's draw in a flower.
Okay.
And all of them, they were trying to draw in a flower in a specific way. But I remember my flower, and I have one. I remember now. I have one.
Oh, you do?
Which is...
Next time you'll bring it on.
I mean, from I think was horrible from what she saw. But I love that. I love that kind of...
It was your idea of a flower.
Yeah, I mean...
You didn't try to copy a flower. It was a flower.
But I was so young that you cannot really replicate a flower.
Sure.
But I don't know. I was seeing that as a flower. So it was
and
different.
And you come walk in with this flower, and she's like...
I don't remember actually what happened in that time, but I remember in the long term that she was really disappointed
with you and the flower.
She wasn't seeing me as an artist, and I wasn't seeing myself as an artist as well, because, of course,
at a young age, we rely also on the eyes of the people who are teaching us and raising us to find our own identity.
And especially because for me, I was a very young, tiny little boy, and it was influences. I mean, they can influence me
very easily. You were probably very sensitive. You were an artist,
like
very
sensitive.
sensitive.
My father influences me to join
his workplace.
Yeah, instead of going to be an artist, because
he didn't encourage you to be an artist.
Yeah, because where you want to go as an artist, that's
which is a typical Italian attitude back in the day. That's why I even forgot about Liceo Artistico, because in my mind, what I took home from those years is nobody encouraged you to be an artist back then. That's why I even forgot about our amazing Liceo Artistico, because it's like, that's not a job or a school. I never consider the possibility of going to Liceo Artistico. First of all, because I'm not a visual artist. But then, it's not what you do for a living. So I totally get it. So even your father suggested that it was best if you just went to work. So art teacher against you, father against you, and now you're here in Hollywood with your work. But before we talk more about it, let's start showing a little bit your work. Maybe Paul in Regia. Thank you, Paul. Here it is. We're seeing that beautiful work right there. Let's talk a little bit about your work before we go back to your journey and your past. What's that? And when you see them, when you see this artwork live, we can say that they change based on the lights as well, the colors and everything change. But please tell us about these works.
Well, what I'm doing, I like to work with many different type of materials. And right now, I mean, it's already 5 years, more than 5 years, almost 7 years, I'm working with plexiglass.
Plexiglass?
Yeah. And this type of artworks I'm doing right now, it's a multi-layer of plexiglass.
Okay.
Combine them together in different. I use different techniques to create them, and
what techniques? Heat or?
Well, I do underwater photography as well.
Ah, okay,
Because
okay.
I'm a diver and a free diver, and what I like to have a picture and use it to recreate these artworks. So actually, in this type of artworks, what I'm doing is like UV mirror printed these pictures on behind this um, plexiglass, the first layer, and then I create the other layers, immersing them into water using a lot of different colors, acrylic ink and pigments, and
And you try somehow to recreate the picture that you printed as the first layer?
no, what I'm
No,
trying to recreate is it's a kind of movement.
a
So,
movement.
well, the idea is to create something that is that catch the lights and reflect back the lights, and it will gives you this kind of um, distortion of reality. So what you can see is something that it's like underwater. It's like water moving, and there is these kind of images moving with them. So that happened because the light that goes into the paintings is bouncing back and forward to the layers,
Of
giving
plexiglass.
yes, giving you this kind of feelings of movement, and then the colors that are like in the layers are moving as you move. So that's how you have this kind of distortion of the reality around you, and the black of the paintings and in the first layer is reflecting back what you have around you, and the distortion of the that I create, the shape I create
With the
on the
plexiglass.
plexiglass, which is in and out. I mean, also inside the other layers is shaped. It gives you this kind of motion. So it's
So what you're trying to recreate is a little bit the experience that you have when you are underwater.
yeah, more or less, yeah. I mean, it's something that yeah, it's this kind of feelings of. It's not really only related to that. It's also related to what is our perception of things,
Ah, okay.
because the project, I mean, is more complicated, is more
Sure.
complex than the last artworks I'm doing. So it's a conceptual artwork before that I'm working on, that time
So
becomes
it's
an artwork.
you're creating visual artworks that push us to have our own perception of reality, or it's like your statement is we all perceive reality in a different way. Each of us perceives reality in a different way,
Well,
or both.
can be both, but also what I'm trying to do. All my artworks are related to the connection between human and nature, and the conflict between them. Because what is happening now? I mean, now it's already a long time is happening.
Sure.
Well, I mean, we are a species that invasive species that change what we have around, and the nature it's changing according to what we are doing, and there are very bad things happening, and
Yeah.
that's what I dive into to understand more what is really happening. Like for instance,
Yeah.
this type of artworks I'm doing now that are related to the sea are actually related to ocean acidification and to coral bleaching.
Ah, okay. Because I have to interrupt in a second. You live in Indonesia right now.
Yeah.
So when you dive in Indonesia, in Bali. That's where your diving happens, right?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
Indonesia, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk it. So just to give context, yeah, let's talk about the coral bleaching. I just learned about
Yeah.
through you and someone else who was actually vacationing in Indonesia. But please explain us a little bit of that.
Well, coral bleaching it's something that is happening to the corals because of the rise of the temperature of the water. So when the water
So global warming we are talking about, global warming or something
it's
else.
also related to that. Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
because
because
why is the water hotter than before?
Well, because there are many factors,
Okay.
and in the ocean is happening that there is not exchange of oxygen anymore, because what is happening is the ocean absorb the CO2 that we are creating with
Okay,
the
yeah.
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, yeah.
Yeah, and the ocean are like trees. So what they are doing,
they breathe.
what they are doing, yes,
The
they
water
absorb,
breathes. I
they
didn't
absorb
know. Okay.
carbon dioxide,
Okay.
and they have this exchange, and they give back oxygen. It's actually one of the big, come si dice polmone?
Lungs of the planet.
Of the planet, yes.
Okay, so the ocean is one of the major lungs of the planet. The oceans are
exactly.
Okay. So going back, so you think that by absorbing CO2, basically, because of the pollution, the temperature of the water raises? That's how it works?
Well, I don't know exactly,
but more or less.
But there are many factors that help that to increase the temperature of the water.
Overheat the water, and when the water is overheated, it bleaches the corals.
What happened? The corals are like are alive. So are microorganisms that are living inside and are feeding the coral. So it's an exchange also there, and to create the corals. It's like, because it's calcium, so they are growing with this. And this, what happens is when the temperature is high, the coral is just like how you say it? It's
they get
splitting out the organisms, and they become like, they have actually beautiful colors when this is happening, because when it's too hot, the colors they start to become like fluorescent, yeah, like yellow, blues.
But the coral
purples.
Is suffering when it becomes fluorescent. So the
you
bottom line is like
beautiful,
but they are suffering. So it's their way to scream.
Yes. Exactly.
What's the color of the corals? Red, or what's
become.
No, what's the normal color of?
There are many different colors.
Okay, but when they become fluorescent, the corals, it's because they are suffering. So they are getting fed in the wrong way, basically. The exchange with the ocean is not.
Well, it's
right.
too hot, so they cannot contain anymore these. These organisms,
and they release them, and they become fluorescent, so they are suffering.
They become white, and when they become white, they die. Actually,
they are dead.
Yes, and then they break and they become something else. So my art projects are related to this. I go deep into this kind of scientific explanation to understand better, and especially because. That gives me a purpose and also an emotion.
Yeah.
And but what I'm trying to do, it's in the years actually, it's trying to find a way how to give back to people something that connect them back to the nature.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's why I'm creating these artworks that are now. I mean, they are all jellyfish, but something that people maybe cannot,
See, it's a way through your artwork you want to establish a spiritual connection between the nature you are fond of, specifically the ocean and the corals and humanity, and maybe hopefully raise also a few questions and some awareness of what's going on.
Exactly. I mean, it's something that you can actually see and get connected with, and maybe you can go deeper and understand better.
Yeah.
And maybe we can always do something to change. I mean,
absolutely. And actually, looking at your artwork, if we want to show some of it again, now that you said that your main inspiration is the ocean and what lies at the bottom of the ocean, But isn't it funny that what lies, looking at your paintings, I noticed that by looking at what lies at the bottom of the ocean, we create images that are similar to the universe. So what's on top of us?
Yeah, but actually,
isn't
the
it?
beauty,
Yeah,
the beauty
yeah.
of it, I mean, they look like aliens. I mean, that's why people sometimes are afraid of it, and but because it's something that we don't
Yeah.
know. It's something every
Now,
time.
this one even reminds me of the color of the background I chose today for us of Los Angeles. It's the sky, the color.
Yes,
So
exactly,
it's
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
so what lies underneath is what lies above, and as humans we easily somehow, because of our ego or our challenges in living a daily life, because we are born into a world, we have to survive somehow. We kind of lose the deep connection with nature and what's underneath and what's above and what's all around. And through your artwork, I can definitely feel the. Now that you explain, I definitely feel the connection with the sea and also with the universe.
Yeah, they looks like in another world. Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, that's what it is.
But for me, the reason why I like it is actually, for me, it's not another world. For me, it's the world. I love to meditate, and in your work, I kind of see the colors of my feelings, of my vibrations when I meditate. Mm-hmm. When I meditate, I don't visualize your artwork, but your artwork reminds me of the vibes I get, the soothing vibes I get when I meditate. And every day is different, but definitely, I think that in your research, you bring up a lot of spiritual connection between the spiritual connection you have with nature and the universal spiritual connection we all have with what we are made of, because at the end of the day we are made of nature, like nature, but we kind of forget, and we have created this kind of antagonism. Okay, so it's beautiful. I didn't know that's your inspiration. So going back, how did you get there then? How did we get, going back to your life, how did we go from Tradate, Varese, the factory of your father, polishing the metals for this great artist, to Indonesia, being a diver and an artist? So let's pick up from there. We are in Tradate, you are 14, you start working in the factory. How was the daily life? How did you grow up in these teenage years working in a factory in Varese? By the way, I didn't meet many people of your generation doing it, so I'm curious, how was life in this factory?
Well, it's a factory life. It's you wake up in the morning, you go to work, and after in the evening.
How did you relate to the other kids your age that most likely were going to a liceo or to a technical school, but they were going to high school?
Well, from where I'm from the city, the small
Tradate?
town I'm from,
No.
it's Solaro.
Solaro.
Yeah, which is very close to Saronno.
We promote Los Angeles, Italy, everywhere. Yeah.
And from where I'm from, people will start working
early.
Yeah. Just few of them that were going through high school and
okay, so you had your community.
And finished the high school.
Okay.
But
because I come from the city, the Hamptons of Italy, Varese. For us, the culture was like go to school. Okay, so from the provincia, let's say, it was more normal. So you had your community of kids and everything. You didn't feel alienated.
We were. We have like friends in common.
Okay, that's
that
great.
Were going to work very early age. Yeah.
And what made you at some point decide, okay, enough of this? What am I gonna do next?
It's a long story because actually I was doing many things as well, because I was working with my father, but in the meantime I was doing other things. And
What were
I
you doing
was
in the meantime?
very connected with the nature. So I was,
Okay, so your love for nature
yes,
was pushing you to explore other things.
yeah, I was connected to the mountains in that time, and I spent a
Okay.
lot of time doing snowboarding
Okay.
and in all the Alps and all around, let's say, Italy,
Yeah, we have beautiful
France,
places if you're
Switzerland.
yeah.
Yes,
So
Austria.
you were going to
Beautiful,
explore
yeah.
the mountains a lot.
Yeah, so I was,
Snowboarding. Were you
and
doing ferrate?
not really,
no.
because I'm afraid of the height.
I did ferrate, that's why I asked. Now I don't know how I did it, but when I was 12, 13, I
Yeah.
was going in Trentino, Alto Adige. Yeah, okay, so
It's beautiful, yeah.
you had this, you in those years in the factory, in your spare time, you developed a strong relationship with nature and
Yes,
in particular
exactly.
with mountains and
Yeah.
snowboarding.
I was going to the mountains every time I had time. So like climbing and also, of course, snowboarding from the top. And I did that for almost 15 years.
Okay.
And I was almost 30 years old. And you know the time where you say, I have to change something in my
Sure,
life.
sure.
Because I mean, of course, the life in the factory was actually okay,
Yeah.
because the factory grew up quite a lot, and but it wasn't my life.
Okay, sure.
So I have to find something different. In the meantime, I was doing my artworks, I was doing my small things, but they were just hobby.
Yeah.
And so I tried to become an instructor, but it wasn't neither that.
An instructor of what? Snowboarding, or
Snowboarding.
of snowboarding? Oh, so
Yeah.
you're good at snowboarding. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to become that, but then I realized it wasn't that.
Your call.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I left everything I have, and I had to find something different.
And
And,
where did you go?
I went to Indonesia because Indonesia was one of the countries I visit that I was feeling more connected.
Okay, you felt.
Because in the meantime
yeah.
I was traveling, of course.
Sure.
And that time I wasn't able to speak English at all. And I learned English when I was in Indonesia.
Don't
And,
worry. I'm an American. I still don't speak English. So you went there without speaking English. Now you clearly do speak English.
Yeah, and try to find a connection. I mean, try to learn who I am anymore, because you
Nice.
don't know anymore who you are. Yeah, and over there actually.
Why you did that? You found yourself at 30 not knowing who you were, because we have to find out every day because of the life that you had in Italy, or why do you think at 30 you felt like I need to find who I am, or because the artist in you was pushing and never finding the way out?
Probably because of that. Because
Okay.
because I was very confused and depressed, and I had all these things, and I really didn't know who I was anymore. And the unique way was to escape, to find another way. And Indonesia was my call. And when I went there, the first things I did was like trying to do nothing, which was very difficult, very, very difficult. But I was doing a lot of, I was surfing. So I was doing a lot of surf. And
Again, your love for nature was
I
calling.
was completely into the nature.
From the mountain, now the ocean.
I was also diving and these things, but more surfing. And then
What do you feel like you had to do nothing? Because it's funny. I love to meditate, and I struggle with the fact that meditation is your moment to do nothing and just be yourself.
yes,
And I love it, of course. I am very consistent, but I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I think about the grocery or what I have to do today, and then I go back to the meditation. So, and also in my, not only when I meditate, but also in my daily life, I try now to take time to do nothing.
yeah.
Why do you think it's so difficult for us to do nothing?
because we are used to do a lot of things.
That's
And,
it, because
we always-
it's
we are
our
always
nervous
thinking-
system
yes,
is
we are always-
bombarded and messed up by age 7. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Probably earlier.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I
By
mean,
age 4. What did
was
you do
like that.
today? Show me your drawings today. Show me what you learned at ballet.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's the nervous system is not capable. Like not capable. It is capable, but we are not used to it.
Yeah.
So you went there and you felt that doing nothing was actually something needed to get close to your call. And then right away you found like the ocean is calling, and then keep going.
Yeah, I mean, actually, doing nothing was very, very difficult because we are used to do a lot of things. So pushing yourself to try to do nothing was something
Already a job. Was the job.
was really
The hardest job.
really hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard, really.
I believe you.
And then, and then of course, I mean, I was traveling in Indonesia, and I realized things that I really don't like.
Okay.
And then when I start to become an activist,
Okay.
yeah,
What kind of activist?
I was against Palm Oil Plantation.
Ah, nice. Yeah.
And,
I think
and
I
also
support
pollution.
PETA, and PETA is against those as well,
Yeah.
even because I think they employ animals improperly. So, but
Yeah.
anyways, go on. So
And,
you were against that, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I travel in Sumatra a lot in Sumatra, especially in the jungle. So I spend a lot of time in the jungle.
Nice.
Did
you see some good animals?
I did.
Oh, did you see which is tell us a little bit about
Well,
that.
actually, one of my travel was in Indonesia, in the Aceh area, which is in the northwest.
Northwest.
And over there is nothing, actually, literally nothing.
Oh,
So
wow.
you cannot go in the jungle by yourself because you can get lost and die because there are tigers, and it's very dangerous. Not very, very dangerous. Not kidding.
So tigers actually do attack you if they see you.
Well, tigers are tigers. So
Oh, okay.
They are
Because
very
I
wild.
just feel like tigers like just wanna be alone. Probably that's why. What are you doing here?
tigers are tigers, so
Yeah.
they defend their territory.
Their territory, yeah, but they don't attack you for food, just to defend their
can be.
territory. Also,
I
depends
think
on the
can be.
day.
Yeah,
Depends
I
on the
think can
day.
be.
Yeah.
And so I travel into that time. I traveled for 2 weeks in the jungle,
No, nice.
and we did almost 40 kilometers in the jungles with 2 guides, and it was me and 2 guides. And the purpose of that was to find wild animals, especially orangutans. For me, I mean, my purpose was that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that in the jungle, you see nothing.
Oh,
So
wow.
you think you can see many animals, but then at the end,
No.
the animal escape. So the animal try to stay away from you because, of course, over there is very wild. I mean, they
hide basically.
they hide and they hunt. So that's what they do. And but I was very lucky. I saw a few things, especially 2 orangutans, because we were like sleeping in the riverside, and so we create this
Tents?
small base camp.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
where protected. Not
Protected.
really protected because there was like nothing.
Thank God the tiger. Let's say thank God that the tiger didn't walk by.
Yes, we were lucky. But we really got lucky. But over there in the very early morning, I saw this massive, huge male orangutan just like crossing from the other side, from a tree to another with these huge arms. My God, it was beautiful.
Oh, that's sweet.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we saw a mother with a small
With the baby. That's
but
the
that was
And by the way, I think those are the most dangerous mothers, because if they perceive you as a danger
yes, of
for
course.
their baby.
Of course, but that time they were like at 40 meters above the trees.
Ah, okay,
'Cause the
perfect.
trees there
Okay.
were like
So you did not approach the baby or anything. They were
No,
up
no,
there.
no,
You were
up
down
there.
here, they
40
were up
meters,
there.
I don't know in
Uh,
feet. Probably
a
100? I don't know.
80 feet
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Very, very high.
very high. Yeah.
Very high. Because over there are trees, massive trees.
So that was your
It's
highlight
unbelievable.
of that trip.
Yeah.
And
And then slowly, I did many different trips in the jungle, and that's where I get more in contact with people that were trying to get against the lobbies that were destroying
the jungle.
the jungle illegally. Because I understand. As human, we are always developed.
We need the resources
And,
from
we need resources. We need to create space and whatever. But when it's legal, makes sense. When it's illegal, doesn't make any sense because they were literally destroying everything. And it's there where I say, okay, I have to start to do something. And when I went back,
do you still
because
support any association that
I do, yes, of course I do.
we can say, if you like, we put the links.
Yeah, we can put some links.
Yeah.
And back to my art.
Yes.
I start to do paintings in Bali, and because I connect also with many artists over
There, once
yes.
you were there, so
Yes,
you
once I
kept
was
developing your love for nature and your exploration of the
Exactly.
wilderness, and then the connections with the artists, because the
Exactly.
artist in you kept calling.
Yeah.
Kept calling.
And I start to create artworks related to that, but to show people the problem.
Okay, sure. So
Okay.
it was like you wanted to use your art as a tool to be an activist.
To be an activist,
Yeah.
yes. And that's what I did.
Okay.
And that's what I did for 5 years. I was trying to do that very hardly.
Yeah.
And then because my art is not only paintings. I do sculptures, but I do also video, art installations, many other things. Because what I want to do is to involve people with all their sense into my project. I'd say.
Yeah. To awake their senses through your art.
Yes, exactly.
And make people experience your art throughout all of their senses. Yeah.
Exactly. So for instance, the first exhibition I did was back in Italy in 2015. Was about deforestation. Was called Deforestation.
Uh-huh.
And I had all these massive paintings created with organic materials, with building materials, and I was using this technique where I was burning the paintings and watering them, leaving them outside to create cracks and to change colors by themselves. So it was a kind of technique I was using because I would try to do everything differently. I don't know why, but I need to find my own way how to do things. And
you want to establish your own identity as an artist, as a person, and also be a rebel against.
Yeah, but without trying to be in it. I mean, I don't know how to say.
Well,
It's
I think
just
all
like,
artists deep down we are all the same.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not
I
a
think
visual
so.
artist, but listening to you, I'm like, I think I understand.
Yeah,
It's,
of
you
course
have to
you
be
do.
like that, I think,
course you do.
and you have to be born like that.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
to feel it.
yeah.
It's something that you cannot control.
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. That's I think many artists have it inside.
Yes.
It's in a way or another. That's it is. You are against, and you need to establish identity and change.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
it. Yeah.
you do.
So that's what you were trying to. So those were the first paintings you get at this point to have an exhibit also in Italy. It's
Yes.
2015, and then how did you evolve into this artwork that we have shown, which is your latest and the one you showed here in Hollywood in Santa Monica,
Well,
the other art fair?
That one was by accident, actually. I started
Yeah,
to work with
because I can
accident.
see that actually what's underneath you as an artist has clearly evolved, but it's the same, like your love for nature and your call for being an artist.
Yes.
That's so at this point when you started painting, then just the finished product started changing, but we established
exactly.
what moves you, and I bet it's, I mean, not I bet, like we have established that's still the same, your love for nature and a way
the connection.
to
Actually, the way, because at the beginning, as I was saying,
your connection to nature and people, and wanted to reconnect them as well.
Exactly, but at the beginning I was doing these things where you want to show people that you are I mean, you want to shock people. Okay,
to impress, to shock,
to awake them.
To awake, okay, not to impress them, to shock them, to shake them, okay.
And then that's why the art installations, to bring them to a path to understand what the project is about. So that was at the beginning.
Okay.
The beginning was, okay, now that you're awake, now that you see something that shocks you, and I will bring you to a path where you can understand literally what is happening. So the first exhibition where
now let's talk about it.
We're like with these projections of videos, and where people were going into it and to really understand the problem. And then they can see the paintings and
the problem. And when we say the problem, we say the damage that we create in the jungle and in the nature.
Yeah, the damage that these lobbies create.
The lobbies
because
create,
of the needs of
the palm
materials,
oil and the lobbies. Okay. And then how did you evolve into this more, in this latest kind of work?
Because I realized that what I really want to do now is to connect people back to nature in a different way, but to see the beauty of the nature. So I'm trying to see the beauty beneath the horrible things that are happening. So I want to show...
you changed the approach. You don't want to show the shocking part, or not. You're choosing right now to not...
positive way, let's say.
Shock, but to awake people, but awake them through their natural connection we have with nature, which is more spiritual and positive and loving.
Yeah.
And
trying to
and
see
magical,
the positive way of things and to be more connected. That what is my purpose now. I mean, actually, because I'm doing also experiments where I dissolve shells into the acid water, and I do like time lapse shootings to see the evolving process of the dissolving, and which is terrifying because I do that as a performance during the art show, and there are people, because I put something you can sit and observe that, and I have a camera that are taking picture, and you can see also people having very, big emotion on that.
Emotional reaction.
Some of them crying as well.
Isn't it though a destructive act to dissolve a shell?
It is, but I can see the positive things on that. I mean, when something gets dissolved, it doesn't go in nothing. It goes
into another shape.
Into another form. So the idea that things are changing, like the deforestation, the coral bleaching, or the ocean acidification, is that things are always evolving, always changing in something else, in some other forms, that in a way that can be beautiful.
Okay.
So you can always see the beauty behind that.
Okay.
And what I know is that things can change for nature, but nature can go back easily. We are not. So
that's an interesting point.
Yes, nature goes back and finds
another shape.
Way. Yes,
but not human beings.
Like corals are finding their own way to grow. There are corals that are now, because corals can grow very, very fast and change very, very fast the DNA, the gene of the coral itself. So it will find its own way for sure.
But you think we cannot as human beings?
I don't think so. I mean, we can change things. In
That's
positive, in a bad way, but yes.
wow. Let's show some other images of your art. And actually, thinking about this connection with nature and talking to you, I wonder if it is actually something that it can be taught to human beings, or you just have it or don't have it. As for instance, when you were talking about the tiger, I feel like, and that's very naive of me, but I'm so connected to nature that I feel like the tiger would love me. In my fantasy, I get into the jungle, the tiger sees me, and it's like, finally someone is here. Finally Liliana has arrived. Come Liliana, I will give you some food. Stay with me, let's live together. And then the tiger is even sad when finally I have to tell her I cannot survive here, I have to go. That's my fantasy, okay? I sing songs to coyotes that I see in the street, okay, here in Los Angeles. I literally do.
Wow.
There's a couple of coyote. I sing them instead of Mila and Shiro. Do you remember Mila and Shiro?
Yes.
It's Mila and Milo. Mila, I stop the car because they come around. Mila and they look at me and they like. So that's my. But I think it's just me. So I think that some people just have it, and I have it maybe a little bit too much. But I don't know if it can be taught. You know, I don't know if it can be taught. But indeed it can be helped. And your artwork, look at that. Your artwork, I think, can definitely bring to a house this magical connection, to a house, to an office, to a space. This can awake this magical connection, spiritual connection that we have. It can awake, I think, also spiritual connection that a person can have with their own self, which makes sense because I feel like this artwork for you, it's also a spiritual, the result of your own spiritual journey.
Yes,
so you
of
said
course.
you had to find yourself. Did you find yourself now, as of today? When you wake up in the morning, in your life?
Well, I think it's a journey.
Yeah, careful because your girlfriend is here also. Vita is here. Yeah, careful. No, I don't know. I don't know. No, seriously.
Yeah.
How did you find yourself more, at least?
For sure, yes.
You feel like you have a strong identity. You know more who you are, and you live more aligned.
Yes, but I think it's a journey. You because as things change, you change. I mean, we change every time, and also for whatever happened in our life. So I think it's a journey. We learn who we are in a way.
I totally relate to that. Relate and struggle, but I definitely feel like I too find myself more like myself as of today. But then you get also to the point where you find yourself, and then you have to fight also aging, which changes who you are despite your own willingness. Like there are so many things in life, right?
And that's the beauty.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't age, it's a problem.
And what are your, first of all, we didn't talk about Los Angeles, so what are your impressions of this city now that you showed your art here? How did people receive it? How was the art fair?
Well, the art fair was great. People never saw something what as I do, because it's
your type of work with plexiglass and with the
a unique
layers
technique
and
that I developed by myself. So it took me like 7 years to create it, and it's my own technique, which I will give also a name.
Nice, yeah.
We were talking with Vita about
yes,
it.
Yes, Vita is the girlfriend, just like you brand it.
Yeah, because actually it's something kind of unique. So
you need to brand it.
It's can be like a movement. Who knows?
Absolutely, an art movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yes, definitely.
But yeah. I mean,
so the
it,
Angelenos received it well.
Yes. Yes.
I was talking to an artist, Cosmo, who was there, and actually I was talking to his sister.
Yes.
And I stopped by and looked at his work, and I was talking to the sister, and she said who are you here for? And I said, Alessio Ceruti. And she said, yeah, that's the one I met because I stopped by because I really liked his work. So I'm like, small world.
Yeah, I mean, I found many artists interested on what I'm
Yeah, she's like, oh, I know Alessio. That's I stopped there because I wanted to learn about that.
But you know, in the art fair, people are coming to buy things for their house.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different than showing in a gallery or in a museum or doing your own solo show, for instance, where people learn about what you are doing because
Okay.
my art has a purpose, and in the art fair
It's more about buying
It's
something
more
for your
about-
house.
exactly.
And by the way, your artwork though is also perfect if you want to buy something for your house.
Oh, absolutely.
There's
I
nothing.
mean,
yeah.
they are. They can fit any type of house actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's
An
nothing.
Office or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
said it. I see that artwork also in our high-rise buildings in Century City, all those offices or medical offices,
they
law
are-
offices. They're perfect for it because
And from real, they are totally different. So
in
because
real,
you can-
when you're in front of them,
because you can see them.
they are a great decoration, anyways.
I can show you a
yeah.
video later.
Yeah.
when-
Okay. Yeah, they're great decoration. And where do you see from now? I know you're going to Dallas because over there you are in you have your work in a gallery.
An exhibition
so
there, yes. I have
where
an
are
exhibition
we
there.
going from
So,
here?
Okay, let's say in Dallas we will have a very nice exhibition with big artwork pieces because what I like to do are big artwork pieces, which are around 70 feet by 50, I don't know, or something big.
Big.
Yeah. And,
That it takes the whole wall.
takes the whole wall,
Okay.
yeah, and they are beautiful because they really looks alive. In the future, what I'm doing now, it's a very good project
Ah.
that I'm looking for. It is in Indonesia with one of the biggest galleries in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah, they are really into my type of artworks and my projects because it's related to a project that we want to do in Indonesia for a coral reef restoration.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, and we want to what we are doing is like collaborating even with some NGO. They are actually doing coral reef plantations. So they do
we go
coral-
back to the corals.
Yes, coral gardening. So what they do actually is taking an area which is destroyed because of coral bleaching or
Yeah, the things
other-
we talked about. Yeah.
yes, or other things, and restore that area. So usually when the area is destroyed by coral bleaching means that it's too hot. So they are going a little down. So with
Bring the temperature down.
no. They are going down with a, I say it. They are down into the water.
Okay.
areas.
Okay.
Not, I don't know. Let's say before was in 10 feet was destroyed, so now they are going 20 feet,
Okay.
and they are recreating the restored the area over there.
Ah,
So they are
okay.
replanting the corals. So they are growing the corals in this. It call it coral farming. like-
Coral farming. Okay.
And they are growing the coral, and then they transplant the coral into the reef.
And how did you partner with them? What's your role in
Well-
this operation of restoration,
My
coral restoration?
my project,
farming.
which is still an embryo,
Yeah.
and we are developing that with the gallery. It's to take a huge area of the coral reef and connect with the NGO and
Non-governmental organization for the people who don't know, like me.
exactly, and sell plots
Yeah.
of the area
Ah.
to collectors.
Oh.
So it's like a. how
But
you say,
if you sell it, it means at least they finance the farming. That's what it is.
what it will happen is because the project is very conceptual.
Okay.
So what will happen is they will buy a plot of land,
Okay.
which of course they cannot buy.
Yeah.
But they are actually
They finance that
they
plot.
finance that.
Okay.
But they will get back kind of as a certificate is one of my painting. Which is,
that's your role.
yes,
Okay.
which is actually my role is everything. There, in there.
Okay.
Yeah, and they will get like a specific painting created for that project.
Based on the lot they are financing.
Exactly.
I love that. I want
And-
to finance. I don't know with what money though. So please say like and subscribe. But please go ahead. Yeah, just
Yes, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe because I want to finance this replanting of colors and a partnership of Alessio with the NGO, non-governmental organization, because it's a wonderful environmental project. So I have to put the money to finance, put the money down to finance the farming.
They buy
and
a plot
to buy
of the land.
a plot of the
Yes.
land. Okay.
And what will happen there is once they have a plot, they can create something on it, and that's another things I'm doing because the project is not only
Number
to
two.
create, to
To
sell
replant,
the plots.
to
so
sell,
this
okay.
conceptual idea of
Yes.
having your own
Yeah.
land,
Yeah.
but is also to create the underwater city. So we want to create an underwater city
Like a city where we can go live.
where we can go and explore, because the city is actually a city. It's not really a city.
Okay.
It's like imagine Atlanta, right?
Atlanta.
But it's Atlantides.
Atlantide, okay.
Atlanta,
No, yeah,
it's
yeah. No, Atlanta is true.
Atlantide,
Sorry, no, I totally got
Atlantis.
Atlantide. Atlantis, okay, okay.
Atlantis.
Yeah,
Atlantide.
we love
How you say
Atlanta,
it?
but
Atlantis.
okay,
Yeah,
Atlantis.
Yeah. Okay, that's funny. But imagine that. So it's an underwater city. Yeah, you cannot live there, but you can explore there.
Oh, wow.
So this project will help not only the coral, which will grow, because we will replant the coral into the city, and so
Absolutely, yes.
into the buildings,
Into the Atlantis.
yes.
That,
But
yeah.
even the locals living there, because they will have people coming there for diving. They
Yeah,
can
so
have
the
accommodation.
business.
Yeah, it
Of
will
course,
help
then we
everybody there.
at that point though we need to regulate the tourism, otherwise Atlantis gets destroyed by the tourism and the greediness. Like, oh, there's money here in Atlantis, okay, and yeah, that's how we rock and roll here.
But
I would start. I would love that's a great project. So to finance the replantation of the farming of corals, replantation, and then people can get one of your paintings that is the certification of their plot.
They will own a piece of land,
They
let's
will own
say, certificated by a painting, but every time they want to create something on that, so they will buy a piece of artwork that I will create as a sculpture to install into the city. And so the city is built as, let's say, the idea is to create the city as that. And that's what we are doing now, yeah.
That's very,
I
that's
will
a
tell
very
you-
interesting project. I am a little bit like, wow, I never heard of anything like that because I don't live in the water world
Yeah.
or in the visual art world. This is so interesting and
Because
so
there are
adventurous
many-
as
yeah.
well
There are many projects,
and ambitious.
there are many projects where people create like sculptures and they put the sculpture underwater. But the main point is that if you want to recreate something that can grow, like corals reef, you need to have somebody that follow that, because the coral is not that you plant the coral and the coral grow and wherever.
Okay.
But you need to go there and take care of the coral. So the coral need to be brushed.
That's so
funny.
sweet.
Yeah, they need to be brushed.
I love it.
Because what happens is that all the algae will grow on top of the coral.
So you have to
some
brush them off.
Some algae they will
Suffocate.
suffocate the coral.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
So they need to be brushed until they will
So
grow.
you become the parent of the corals.
Exactly.
The daddy, that's amazing. I love this. I love this project, and
Yeah.
keep us posted. You'll come
I
back and
will,
tell
I
us
will.
more about it. And in the meantime, I will put your website and everything down here. So down here, like and subscribe. And last question: what are your art teacher who's told you that you're never gonna make it, and your father thinking of you showing your work in Los Angeles and in Dallas and all around the world, and farming the corals in Indonesia and creating Atlantis? What do they think of it? Do they know of it? Your father for sure.
My father is very proud, actually.
He's proud, he's
Yes.
happy, eh? And
Yes.
is he still running the factory and his
Still,
business?
yes, of course, he did.
So you still have that through your father. And have you ever run into your art teacher at the middle school?
I never.
No.
No, I never.
She should
I
know.
know. She probably doesn't remember me anymore.
Well, you remember her. That's the
Oh
point.
yeah, I remember her.
When you're a
But then,
vindicative soul, like me, she doesn't remember you, but you can remember her, you know.
As they say,
and you
I'm a-
can
I'm a
tell her.
Scorpio.
Do you
Scorpios are very-
exactly? Do you if you run into her in Solaro? Hi, do you remember me? No, let me explain you. This is my artwork, and you told me that I was not.
But those things,
Go.
helps you to grow. So,
Absolutely, resistance.
So I'm not sure if that is something I did because I want to vindicate this. I don't think so. But yeah, for sure, it's something I remember.
Yeah, and something. Okay, let me show you. Very good, Alessio. Thank you so much for coming here and explaining everything about your art and your journey. And
Thank you for
I
having
learned
me.
so much about things that I had no idea about. NGO, but the corals, Indonesia, and also I connected on things that instead I knew, the base of being an artist, which is the same, even if the art product is completely different. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
and
having me.
thank you.
It was really nice to be here.
And
See you.
and for you, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another guest.
Bye.
Ciao.